Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining the E92 Plus webinar on creating a secure COVID-19 workplace. We've just got people joining, so we'll just give a second while everybody logs in, and then we'll begin shortly. That's great. Lots of people joining now. Thanks very much. So welcome to this webinar from E92 Plus, in particular on E92 WorkSafe division. We'll be looking at how to create a COVID secure workplace and how you can take some of the offerings that we've got out to your customers. I'm joined by our vendor manager, Dan Self, and I'll pass over to you, Dan.
Thanks, Neil. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. So as Neil alluded to there, I am the vendor manager, or one of the vendor managers here at E92 Plus, responsible for our OneScreen GoSafe product offering. So for those who don't know E92 Plus, we are a IT distributor. We've specialized in kind of the cybersecurity market for the last 30 years. And in the last couple of months, we've made the decision to work with, partner and collaborate with OneScreen. OneScreen are an American vendor who specialize in interactive displays and whiteboards, and most recently their GoSafe product offering, which is a body temperature facial recognition scanner with live assistance. So as part of the agenda today, we're going to talk about what is the OneScreen GoSafe, how can OneScreen GoSafe keep staff and visitors safe, how can OneScreen GoSafe control access. We're going to look at two example use cases, followed by a real use case for a customer of ours, which was sold through one of our partners. Going to look at the commercials, and we're going to spend a little bit of time doing some Q&A. Just need to mention now that my technical resource, a gentleman called Isaac, was unable to join this morning. So if there's any particularly technical questions which I'm unable to answer, I'll make a note of these and look to get back to you before the end of the day today. So effectively, at the moment, I think I can speak for all of us when we say we're looking forward to returning to some sort of normality, getting back to offices, shops and public buildings, hopefully in December, unless Boris Johnson decides to extend the current lockdown further. But when we do, it's important that we reduce our risk so that we can all live, collaborate, learn and resume day-to-day life confidently. And that's why I'm going to introduce the OneScreen GoSafe. It's a Qualcomm-based device which can scan for temperature, mask and facial recognition. It can scan in less than 1 second, utilizing onboard AI. It provides access control integration for any automatic door, gates, or turnstile systems that you may have. It's the only scanner on the market with live video assistance and free unlimited help and training. And you also have the option to have centralized management software for data analytics, attendance analytics, and if you have multiple devices installed. So the device itself is built with better technology compared to some of the competitors that are on the market today. So as I alluded to, it has Qualcomm technology, Snapdragon octa-core processor, which delivers onboard AI for the most secure data processing and the most fast, reliable scan. So the Qualcomm variant can scan in as little as 0.3 seconds. There's added software for better user experience, so voice activated live assistance. If you say to the device, call Guru or help, you get real-time assistance from the vendor directly. You can set the device up to alert select recipients within an organization. So you might want this to go to an office manager, you may want this to go to a sales director, or you may want the alert to go to someone in HR, and that can give them the results of an individual scan. So they may be looking for people who are repeat offenders for not wearing masks, or people who are regularly showing a higher temperature. You have the opportunity to integrate this technology with APIs into ID cards, fingerprint scanners, attendance and payroll platforms. So effectively taking the device away from a standalone device and integrating it into an infrastructure of an office environment for data and information analytics. You get unparalleled support and service, so free 24/7 training and help from the vendor directly. And that can be helping you to set up the device, or that can be to help you integrate that device into any existing systems or software that you have today. So talking about the device in a little bit more detail. It comes in a few different variations and you can have it in a few different operating modes. So standalone mode, where effectively you have one device. It may be at the entry point of an office. It might be a library, or it might be a beautician, something like that, where they don't particularly have a huge amount of staff. They don't require integration. All you need to know is, does that person have an elevated temperature? Yes or no? Yes, they can come in. No, they can't. Do they have a mask on? Yes, they do. They can come in. No, they don't. No, they don't. They've got to go and get a mask on. You can then have it in LAN managed and cloud managed. So this is great for organizations that have multiple entry points, multiple locations and offices, and that could be around the country or even around the world. You may want it to be remotely managed by an IT team. So an example there, a new starter joins an organization, straight away their IT team can upload an image of that new starter along with their ID number. So when that new starter arrives on their first day in the office and they scan, the system recognizes them and allows them entry into the building via the door system or however you have it set up at the time. The settings are completely customizable, although there are preset body temperature levels. There may be situations where these need to be changed for one reason or another. So if you're installing these into a manufacturing facility or somewhere that's working with metal, for example, temperatures may be elevated as standard. You can change facial recognition to be on or off, mask presence to be on and off, and then card reader to be on and off as well. And where I see the benefit of the card reader is we take it away from a COVID response solution, but more to an access control solution. So at the moment, there may be organizations that you need an IC card, an ID card just to scan in. You lose your card, someone finds that card, they're able to scan in and get into your place of work. If you install a OneScreen Go Safe with facial recognition and the card reader function, right there, you've added an additional layer of security into your environment. And just a few kind of standout features at the bottom there. So if you're running the device in standalone mode, you can upload up to 30,000 images to the device directly. It can scan temperature between 1.6 and 3.2. Temperature time for scan. So if you buy the Qualcomm variant, 0.3 seconds, but even the Rockchip variant will scan in 1 second. So it's extremely fast. And the temperature accuracy is plus or minus 0.9 degrees Fahrenheit. Obviously, we all work in Celsius here, so it's very negligible, the variance that they allow. So we're going to look at a couple of use cases here, some example ones followed by a real one where we've sold and installed some of these. So if you're like me, I'm sure you would have taken advantage of things such as Eat Out to Help Out earlier this year. There's murmurs coming that there may be something similar in the winter. But a couple of the restaurants that I went to, I was met with a similar sight to this. There is a waitress, front of house member of staff, who obviously takes your details for test and trace, but also takes your temperature using a handheld temperature scanner. This is a cheap solution, and they've only really done this to show that they're being compliant, but creates risk, right? So there's risk to that member of staff because they're coming to close proximity with all the guests that are coming in. But there's also risk to you as a consumer, as that member of staff may have scanned 100 people previously that day, and there's no guarantee to know whether they've come in contact with someone who is displaying an elevated temperature. If you were to replace the handheld temperature thermometer with a OneScreen Go Safe, you reduce that risk significantly as it's completely automated. You have a touch-free device and also an alert and alarm system. So if you want, the device can immediately flag up a high temperature via an alarm sound and flashing lights. So not only does this create a safe environment, but it fills the customers with confidence. So they're going to leave, they're going to tell their friends and their family about that they've gone to a restaurant and they've had one of these devices in place. And during a pandemic where restaurants are very reliant on business at the moment, this could be the difference between them surviving during the pandemic or them not surviving. Going to move on to a use case for network mode and why having the software and being remotely managed would become more apparent and more needed. So we're going to look at a building site here. So site workers are usually contractors. They're usually self-employed. They could have been on multiple sites before arriving on site with an elevated temperature. So the guys at head office need to be aware who's registered a temperature. So the handheld temperature thermometer just says your temperature is high or it's not. It doesn't tell you who that individual is, and there's no data analytics around that. Using the OneScreen GoSafe, they'll capture an image of the person's face. They will be able to link that to a contractor ID number if they've uploaded it to their system. And then they'll be able to look back at that data and see where this contractor has been in the previous week, in the previous 2 weeks, and can start to alert other contractors and other members of staff that someone who is given a high temperature reading has been on site with them previously. That can be managed by the IT team at the head office, or it might be a home builder. But at that point, it becomes apparent why a standalone device wouldn't be as efficient in the situation. So those were two examples. We've got a real kind of case study here and a quote from Trevor Rose. He's the managing director of CROSSLEY Group, who are a firm of chartered accountants. And effectively, they had 4 floors in an office in a single block. And there's a stairwell, and that office has capacity of 100 people. So their employees were a little bit scared about how are CROSSLEY going to make the environment COVID safe. So they looked at a few different products, and one of the key aspects that they wanted to ensure is that no one entering the building had an elevated temperature and that everyone could feel safe. So they installed the GoSafe, which actually we didn't get involved or help them with that at all. They were able to do that themselves, which took less than half a day, and they don't really have an internal IT function. So it goes to show just how easy these are to get up and running. The staff loved it, they feel safe, and no one has really been worried about working with other members of staff in the office. And another point to make here is that these guys actually integrated it into their existing door systems. So once the temperature pass and facial recognition pass was displayed, the automated barrier on the door opened. So what's in it for you as partners and partnering with E92+? So we're going to look at pricing and commercials first. So on the right-hand side, we have a RRP price list. So this is available for me to send out to everyone who's on this webinar. And you can share that with any of your end users, as this is end user RRP pricing. So as you can see at the very top, they offer a version with a Rockchip processor without the software as a subscription, and the RRP price is £1,162. And then they offer a Qualcomm processor with a lifetime subscription and updates at £1,675. So they have an option at the lower end of the market, and they have an option at the higher end of the market, giving you choice and giving your customers choice. So if we look at the discount that's available, there's 20% discount for all partners as standard. So once you're signed up with E92+ and you want to partner with OneScreen, you get 20% off. If you come to me and say, Dan, I've got a project I'm working on and you want to protect yourself and register that, I will give you a 10% additional discount upon an approved deal registration. So to give an example there, if your customer was looking at the Rockchip device with no software, with your 30% discount, your buy price from me would be roughly £815. So really, you're looking at kind of a low price point for what it is. And then if the customer decides at a later date, they want to add that management software and that data software, they can buy that separately as an annual subscription. The RRP on that is £245. But if they buy it at point of purchase with the device, they get that subscription for lifetime. There's professional services available from E92+. So we offer half day, full day, 2 days, wherever it may be, subject to a scope call. Isaac, our technical engineer, will go out and do the install in standalone mode or in network mode, however the customer wants to have that, if they want to have it integrated into their door systems. We offer monthly payment options, subject to credit check on the end user, and a 14-day sale or return. So if the customer is umming and ahhing, get a purchase order from them, place a purchase order on us, we'll ship the devices out. They've got 14 days with that device to decide, okay, great, yep, we're going to keep it, or no, we want to send it back, and we will give a full credit back on the invoice, subject to that being returned in resaleable condition. So why partner with E92+ on OneScreen? So outside of the commercials and your 30% margin, there's a lot available to you as our partners. We offer campaigns, so we've got a pre-made campaign in a box for OneScreen, which has a HTML email, 2 plain text follow-ups, a landing page, and there's a whole host of sales material available. Of course, if you want to do something more bespoke and you want to target a particular vertical, a particular industry, or take a specific message to market, you're more than welcome to work with us to create a bespoke campaign. We have a very good in-house marketing team who will create that collateral for you. And then we can either send that out to your end user base using our campaign automation software, or we can provide you with the content to be able to do so. You have access to our partner portal for easy deal registration. So you can protect your margins, protect that project. You can do that on the portal if you're unable to get hold of me, or you can call me up, send me an email, whatever you want to do, and I can do that on your behalf. And then the technical services that are available, obviously we have our professional services, which we can charge when we go out and do the installs, but there's a lot of free things that we offer as well. So we've already hosted over 10 demonstrations on the OneScreen Go Safe, which had the partner and the end user on, and that's completely free of charge, lasts about 30 to 40 minutes, and that can either be me hosting, or if you want to bring someone from the end user who is very technical, we can have a technical led conversation where Isaac will host that. So yeah, quite short and sweet and high level today. And take this time to answer any questions that you may have. But thank you for your time today.
Smashing. Thank you very much, Dan. We'll just hold on a sec just to see if there are any other questions coming in from people. Don't forget there's the chat box or the Q&A where you can ask anything. Just to mention as well, obviously, in terms of going out there, if there is any extra support you need, not just from a technical perspective, but obviously from marketing as well, we've got lots of resources and assistance available for you to be able to take the product out to your customer if it's something that you think is of interest. So obviously, in terms of all the digital marketing materials to help on things like kind of social, holding webinars, kind of co-branded information, that's all there as well. We have had one question just coming in, Dan. How easy is it to integrate into door access systems?
Yeah, so relatively easy. The CROSSLEY & Co example, which I spoke about earlier, they were able to do with no kind of interference or help with E92 Plus. If you give me 1 second, I do have a little bit on the door integration on a frequently asked question document. I'm just going to pull that up now. So it connects with industrial standard interfaces, WiGAN relay, R5232 for controlling doors and gates, USB interfaces for connecting professional devices and firmware updates. So yeah, relatively easy, and we can help out as and when needed.
Yeah, the system's designed, kind of fairly open access in terms of being able to kind of exchange information. Kind of backwards and forwards between the system and between anything else, kind of, I think the kind of API integration and things like that. Dan just had one other question just coming in terms of turnaround for delivery times. Yeah, so at the moment, the Qualcomm variant, we do have physical stock. So if you were to order on me today, I could deliver next day. The Rock chip processor, we do not have physical stock at the moment. So we're looking about 2 to 3 week lead time on those. Okay, right. Well, we said we wanted to keep it nice and brief, so not taking up too much of your time. I think we've got all the questions that are coming in. Obviously, if there is anything else that you would like to know as a follow-up, we will send out an email and more information to everyone. Obviously, you can kind of call into the office, contact Dan directly. He'll also send his details out to everybody. We'd be happy to hear you. And I believe there will be a recording of this as well, shared and available to everyone who attended. Okay, just one quick one has just quickly come in, and just at the end, in terms of providing demonstration to clients. Yeah, absolutely. So we will host a online demonstration where we'll set up a camera on the device that we have on our office. We'll then have another screen being shared, which is the management platform and data platform. Myself and Isaac will talk the end user through the device, the platforms, and then if they want to get really technical, I'll let Isaac take over at that point. Okay, that's great. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for everyone for your time today. It's much appreciated, and thank you, Dan. Thanks, Neil. Thanks, everyone. Okay, have a great day.